Welcome to the world's first straight talk Solarcast. This is your go-to podcast for answers about solar. Brought to you by Solar Harmonics in Northern California, who invite their customers to own their energy by purchasing a solar panel system for their home, business, or farm. Each episode, we discuss questions facing people making the decision to go solar. The solutions to your questions are given to you straight by one of the leading experts in the solar industry, Jamie Duran, president of Solar Harmonics. Feel free to search our library for answers to questions that you're facing when considering solar. And now, here's Adam Duran, our host with the questions, and Jamie Duran, our solar expert with Straight Talk Solarcast.
Hey, Jamie, how's everything going today?
Oh, going great. It's only 108 degrees today in Brentwood.
I bet my office is hotter than that.
It feels like I want to move into the pool, but I think it's probably just as hot there.
I would drop all my electronics straight into the pool, so I'm not going to be doing that.
That's true. Yeah, you must have Apple.
Yeah, it's not cheap when that happens.
Yeah, Samsung, you can drop it in, no problem.
Okay, we'll wait while you go and try, and then let us know. You can just do it in the toilet.
That is a good idea. I could just do the podcast from the pool next time.
Oh, there you go. No one will get upset about that at all.
And I'm working. That's what
I'm working.
I'm working here.
I'm working in the pool.
That's right.
Hey.
Yeah.
Where's my drink?
Yeah. That part I'd be on my own, but yeah, sounds like a good plan.
I think your kids would walk by, stop, and then keep walking.
Yeah, they have to look up from their phones first, but yeah.
Yeah, so they don't fall in. That's the only reason.
That is true. But it is hot today. Oof.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't had a fire today or PG&E blackout.
Well, guess what?
Oh.
Maybe in your area. But last night, big fire, really close to us, within probably a mile of our house.
Wow.
Yeah, but PG&E stayed on, so no problem. But yeah, there've quite a few people calling about the, getting or adding a backup generator to their house.
Yeah, you talked about that before.
Oh yeah, it's a big worry now. So yeah, it's interesting times in the world of solar, that's for sure.
It's so I'm inside and I'm in the hottest room in my house and it's pretty warm, but I have the fan going and I'm not dying, but I guess I'm not 85 years old or a baby.
No, but people. I do have a client who her husband is on life support. He's paraplegic, and he has an electric bed. And the temperature has to be at like no more than 68 degrees, or his life is in jeopardy. And yeah, and this one's gonna be really sad because, well, not sad, but we are not able to put in a generator. We're only able to do a battery system for him. And the batteries, as we talked about, only hold about 10 kilowatt hours. So I think to run his air conditioning, run his life dependent equipment. He has a breathing machine that has to be on all the time. I think he's going to need at least 2 batteries, if not 3. So that one's going to be a problem. But we'll work with it. We'll get it solved.
Sure. And then how much? I mean, so he has battery power for a few hours.
Depends.
Few days?
The air conditioner is the biggest draw in the house, and so. If it's sunny out and he's running it, the solar panels will continue to supply the batteries. But at nighttime, if the power outage, extends there, then could run out of power. Or if it's in winter, when we only have 2 hours of sun a day, on average, and it runs out of power. So it's the batteries are so dependent on the sun. So it's but he has no natural gas where he's at. Everything is 100% electric.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, but that's not what I was going to talk about today.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm sure you're doing the best you can to help them. And, luckily there's a car probably somewhere in the mix so they can get out of there if they need to. I mean, society hasn't crumbled yet. So
No, but they are terrified of a PG&E power outage, and what do they do if the power goes out? And I could see why. That would be no fun to run out of power and have your breathing turned off. So,
I can,
anywho.
yes. Oh boy. All right. Thank you. And so what would you like to talk about today?
Well, I did a road trip with my daughter down to San Diego this last weekend, and I just wanted to talk about, California is getting more and more solar every single day, and it's just amazing to see how much solar power, not just homes, but we're seeing just massive solar fields and solar farms that are, the last time I was down there, maybe a year ago, there weren't that many solar farms that I noticed anyway. But I just, it's almost everywhere I looked, I saw solar panels, and it's in San Diego, they actually pay more for their electricity than we do in PG&E territory.
What?
Yep.
I thought it was only Hawaii, and then us.
Well, it's all part of the same California Public Utilities Commission. So San Diego Gas and Electric, Southern California Edison, and PG&E are all governed by the CPUC, and that sets the rates. And apparently, San Diego is just a little bit higher. But what that means is solar makes even more sense down there. They get so much sun. But guess what the temperature in San Diego is today?
75.
77.
Oh, wow. It was way off.
I know. Boy, perfect solar area. Anyway, so we saw lots of solar farms all up and down Highway 5, and then we came back on Highway 101, which are two really long highways in California, stretch, the entire state. And I think I counted 11 solar farms just in that area, and not to mention all of the commercial solar that we saw. And we visited these universities, and they are all covered in solar. So what a great trend.
It is. It's good to see, but all I see is we need to have a lot more.
Well, it is nonstop, that's for sure. And
I know traveling over there, like the Grapevine, where they have to pump all of the water from basically my backyard to Los Angeles, and I'm like, those pumps don't run on fairy dust or fairy juice. It's all got to be electric, right?
Would you like to know how much their electricity bills are?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Get ready to faint. 392 million.
Wow.
Yeah, so
more than $1 million a day.
Yeah, $1 million a day for electricity to pump that water all the way up over the hill, and then let gravity take it down, and then pump it all the way back up over the hill and let gravity take it down. That California aqueduct is PG&E's #1 customer.
Jumping Jehoshaphat. And that's why, people were talking about the tunnels. I guess that would have saved some money.
I don't know for who, but no, I actually contacted the California Aqueduct and was immediately shot down because I said we should put in floating solar panels on the California Aqueduct, and it could go the entire distance, and we could tie into the the electricity points of interconnection all up and down. And guess what the response I got?
Not interested.
I pretty much slam the phone down. Don't bother us again. It'll never work, and go away. Pretty much.
You crackpot. Get out of here with your fancy electric ideas.
I know, but in India, they're definitely doing lots of floating solar, of course. And it's getting to be, to me, what a no-brainer. I mean, there's nothing but sun on that California aqueduct. Even if it prevented 1% of the evaporation of the water that happens there, it's staggering. So, they find that as a good alternative.
Boy, well, so the good part was you saw solar on more and more places.
More like a dramatic amount of solar all up and down California. So it's a really good trend. It's really good to take advantage of this sun instead of just paying for electricity over and over and over every month.
Yeah. Is there some way that you can you tell if that's a leased system or if it's an owned system just by looking at it?
I can tell if it's a government one because I'd say 100% of the government projects are done with leases or power purchase agreements. But no, there's no way I can there's not a big L or anything like that. But yeah, they're
winning.
Most of them. Yeah.
I don't know what the L would be. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if that was a joke or not. Oh, for lease. Okay, not lease. for loser. Oh no.
Yeah. No, but it's just the incredible part that was blowing me away is that solar is just beat down it feels like every day there's a new thing happening that's trying to stop the progress of it, whether it is a new solar tariff or a trade war with China or a million different things that all happen. In spite of that, people are still going solar, and people are still, it is accomplishing the goal of, for them to save money, but also for our environmental side too, and the political side.
Right.
It's making a huge difference. California, they say is the 7th largest economy in the world. That's pretty nice. And so if we can be the leader in that, Hawaii's right there as well, but California is much larger than Hawaii, obviously. So
yeah, I would think so.
It's a great trend. I don't know how the rest of the country can get there unless they just decide we're going to stop with coal and nuclear and all the high cost. All the low cost power sources and go solar. But it's just saying that solar has a really bright future because California has a fair amount of regulations against it, and it's still thriving and still exploding. Really, is what it's doing.
Well, it seems like you said before, it's a no-brainer. So I I guess the message is getting through that the sun's there. Let's take advantage of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a good way to go, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to see that the rest of California is feeling that way too.
So have you been outside of California and seen and what's your opinion about that?
So just went to Alaska and did not see much solar at all up in Alaska.
Okay.
There's some environmental issues, but mainly they get their power from hydroelectric.
Oh.
So it is really, really inexpensive, and just a small investment in hydroelectric with dams and gravity-fed water systems can produce a lot of power. So a lot of places really don't see the financial need to go solar. And aside from half the year is dark.
Yes, that's probably.
And the other half is sunny. But when we were up there, definitely there's a huge. I did find some Alaskan solar companies, but they're few and far between. But I think there is an opportunity there.
Yeah.
Other countries are certainly embracing solar as well. I just met with a person who has a company in India, and they are doing tons of solar there, which is really interesting. So all grid tied solar, which is also interesting.
Oh, wow. So I know I've been to a few different states and for my son's tennis, and I look out on, and solar it's rare.
Yeah.
I've been to, I don't know, maybe 5-10 states, and places like on the way to Las Vegas, you're like, oh wow, there's a giant solar farm right there. There must be solar all over. Nope. Not really on the houses. And then in Texas, I was like, oh wow, look at all these brand new. Nope. No, definitely Midland, Texas is not the heart of solar, but I think it might be that. Why do you think is it just because of the cost, that ratio there? It's just not, the payback's not there for those states?
That's exactly it. So in PG&E territory, we have, if the average cost per kilowatt hour starts at 18 or 19 cents and then goes to 50 cents per kilowatt hour, and the system will pay for itself, will essentially break even, where you're in the black essentially after 4 or 5 years. And in other states, because the electricity cost is so low that they have, it's just not, it'll take 15, 20 years for the system to break even.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people look at it and say, why would I go solar if it's going to cost me more?
Right.
And, eventually it does pay for itself, but unless what has to happen in those states is some really big incentives. So they can do rebates or tax credits or all kinds of things to spur that solar, but the government really has to be on board, and it has to be a lot of financial incentives, and that stalls it for sure, because a lot of energy subsidies are going to other industries in place of solar. So,
well, at least California, I guess we're blessed. I mean, we have PG&E, which spurs us on.
It's a good motivator, the carrot and the stick, and now the stick has gotten a double stick, because now if PG&E has power outages, now people are terrified of those outages, and rates keep going up and up and up, and PG&E is in bankruptcy, so they will have to raise rates to get out of bankruptcy.
Is that another podcast for another time?
Yeah, probably. We'll see what happens next week. I'm guaranteed there'll be another issue that pops up.
Really? Oh boy. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's always something in the solar world.
Always something. Well, that's great.
Yep.
Keeps it interesting.
Okay, so do you have anything else for today?
No, I'm just excited to keep on talking solar.
Okay, so everyone, thank you very much for listening. If you have a question, please feel free to contact us through our Facebook page. Feel free to rate us on iTunes, click through all the stuff. It helps all of our businesses and all of our lives get better. And go solar.
That's right. Let's do it.
That's all for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Straight Talk Solarcast with solar expert Jamie Duran. Join us each week for more answers to your solar questions. Speaking of questions, got some? Email us at solarcast@solarharmonics.com, and we'll be sure to give you an answer in an upcoming episode. This episode of Straight Talk Solarcast is brought to you by Solar Harmonics, the leading solar energy developer in Northern California, who invite you to own your energy. Visit them on the web at www.solarharmonics.com.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.